Hi everyone, Scrappy Kathy here with another challenge accepted. This week we're doing the Scraptastic Inspiration Day 1, Challenge 1 of their Octoberfestival. And it's an interesting challenge that actually gave me an idea for how to use a cut file that I'd gotten from Khristina Sorge at Creative Cuts Club. So as you can, first of all, I'll tell you that the challenge has 3 choices. Title starts with O, predominantly orange, and oval, and the word oval is there, which means, I suppose, as long as you have an oval somewhere on the page, that's fine. You're to pick 2 out of 3, and I'll tell you ahead of time, I have picked the predominantly orange and the oval shape. And then you had 3 sketches that you had to choose from, and I chose this one. It's primarily because I had this cut file that you'll see. The entire thing was a 12 by 12 cut file, and I actually cut a piece of it so that it would have this kind of angled look. And I'm going to use it on a diagonal striped paper to kind of get these diagonal lines that are going through it. I think those lines are a nice contrast to the circles that are surrounding the photo. In the sketch, there's one square photo with a layer behind it, and it's matted a couple times. I'm actually using a a portrait photo and a small horizontal photo. These were taken at exactly the same time. Allie was on stage singing in her very first choral performance in first grade back at Jackson Elementary. And Ava had food all over her mouth, but she was looking transfixed at watching her sister sing. And this was a jubilant song that actually I think was about reading and the library and so forth, if I recall the subject. It was a school concert after all. So this was the challenge. I actually had already printed these 2 photos and found that the sweater Allie's wearing and the outfit that Ava has on actually would kind of look nice with a predominantly orange theme. So that was an easy choice to make. As for ovals, I remembered some stickers, some October afternoon stickers that had ovals. And I actually had already used this one, but I have cut around the outside of it so that I can use it just as a shape. And that this one I've actually got as a sticker. So I'll find a place for those. And they go along with the Rediscover Your Stash focus, their product focus this month for something for you, a stash item for you to bust, is labels. And I have lots of labels on this page. I'll try to see. I'm probably going to use just these 2 oval ones on this page, but I have in mind other pages that those would be used for. Another product emphasis at For the Love of Pretty Paper is ephemera, die-cut ephemera. So I've gone through my vast stash of October afternoon bits and pieces from a number of old collections. And I've found this one, and I may want to use it as the card, but more likely I will fussy cut that camera. I've found on a piece of paper, I actually cut out these circles. I liked the images with the raised arms to kind of go with the raised arms of the kids in the concerts. I have these. I have this piano player because there was music, and then here kind of chasing butterflies, going along with dreaming. there's a card, if you're familiar with October Afternoon at all, you know that their ephemera is like no one else's ephemera. So there's this cute little card that says play games, and it's kind of like a what I'd call a flashcard or reading cards when we were in elementary school. And I thought maybe I could tuck it behind something, whatever. And then I have this one that has musical notes. I may use this floral image here and this floral image here someday, but I thought I might cut a circle of these musical notes because that particular song, A Frog Went Walking on a Summer's Day, probably doesn't have a lot to do with this page nor any other that I plan on doing, but I may be sorry. So I maybe could use that in some way to add another circular element. So anyway, let me kind of go back to basics here and choose a background. Just to be honest, I had originally planned to use this bright orange background, and I think I would like this page just fine on that background. But I began to note there are kind of some older, old-fashioned. I literally just dug these out of my scrap pile. This is a basic gray. These are, gosh, I'm forgetting, Bo Bunny, I think. This is a basic gray. I think that's Fancy Pants, maybe. Not sure. That came from a paper pad, and not sure where that came from. So I found these other, in here I don't have that diagonal striped element. So I decided that I would not use this, and so I'm gonna put that piece of paper aside. Now I've got these others. I've got this one from a paper pad. This one is kind of a distressed orange and cream stripe, part of the Meology collection with Fancy Pants from a year or two back, 2014 to be exact. I've got this. This is the B side of a Teresa Collins floral, and it isn't my kind of floral. It's beautiful, it's old-fashioned, and I normally, with a floral that I like, I would never use the back side. This has a pretty wood grain, and I'd fussy cut those flowers, but that's not my style, not my color. This is kind of a grayish beige and cream, and I think the colors might look nice on that, and then there's this pure orange. So just to let you know, I've kind of, let's just put this on top of this. That looks great. There are several of the oranges there, and as long as I have these arrows going in a direction opposite the stripe, I could, in the photo the stripe goes like this. I could have them opposite or with, and then this kind of goes against it. I think that would look great. And a further consideration is that the orange frame I have around this photo would show, and the white actually shows up nicely. I like the white of the cut file contrasted against that. Let's see. Then there's this one, which is kind of unusual, but I like it for that reason. This orange is a little bit like that, and the orangey reddish that I have here I think would look nice. So then we have this kind of more like orange and orange, and what I like about that is the white goes against it. It doesn't have a cream color in it, so the white is okay. You know, I think this may end up being the winner. I was actually thinking this would be, let me get this turned so that the stripes are the way they are. Here. Yeah, I think I'm going to go with this. Okay. I do like the Teresa Collins, and I probably will do another page soon with some of the October afternoon ephemera to use that kind of grayish, beige-ish background. It's a really beautiful piece of paper, but like I said, not exactly my wheelhouse color-wise. Okay, let me cut the edge off this, and then I'll kind of go over with you briefly. Oops, I've moved my camera. What I did, how I did not want to film how I backed the cut file, but I will kind of tell you a little bit about it. I back cut files one of three ways, and sometimes I use two different ways in the same cut file, depending on the paper and so forth. Okay, the entire cut file, as you can see, used to be, cover the whole page, and all of this was in it. The cut file was designed by Khristina Sorge, her very own design, and was distributed to us lucky members who subscribe to the Creative Cuts Club. So what I did for these, for the most part, is, as you can see the pencil marks on here, I laid the cut file upside down on the back side of the paper, did a pencil mark, and then cut a little bit outside the pencil mark, and then put a few dots of glue around to make it stick. On this one, I actually did this on front ways, because I wanted to capture that circle right in the middle. Not sure I actually accomplished that, but I put it the right side of the cut file over the right side of the paper, traced along the outside line, because I knew I wanted those rays to go all the way through, even the little cutouts there. If I had it to do over again, I don't think I would do that, because it's not consistent with how the others are cut, and it doesn't look as good as I thought it would. So then I cut just inside that to get this. And that came from a piece of pattern paper, this one, and you can see the pencil line that I drew on the pattern paper, which was the outside. Then I just cut along the inside there. Okay, and pretty much these others I did the backwards way. If the paper had been thin enough, or the design intricate enough that it would have been hard to do it this way, I might actually put the glue on the image, put it down on the paper that had been trimmed to just a little bit bigger than the image I'm cutting out, and then just cut with my scissors around the image, a combination of scissors and my craft knife. But this is what I did, and after I finished all of that, I put foam pieces so that I can elevate this from the background. And at the time, I wasn't quite sure what the background was going to be, so I didn't do, I might have done that. Let me make sure that these are kind of going consistent with that, and that there. I kind of like that. So I think we're going to go with that. That's not the most important decision one ever makes in scrapping, but when I mounted these pictures together, I actually mounted this one on foam. I knew this one was going to touch one of these circles, and so I put that one on, this one on foam, and she touches the circle kind of in this upper corner. Let me get that the way I want it. Okay, that looks good. I did not put foam behind this one because I knew I wanted to tuck it under, and I wasn't sure where I was going to tuck it. Still not, actually. I thought if this was a little bit further up and this was down here, or I could even cut it in half and kind of tuck it under there, or I could tuck two ends of it. But I think I'm actually going to, and of course I've got the foam glued down, I may do it so that this goes almost to the edge over here. And let me get a little bit of glue under there. Okay, that way it doesn't look like it's in a line with this one, but it does kind of go over that. Okay, let me now start adding the various elements. I thought I might do, I have this set of butterflies from a set of planner stickers, and I like the colors in this butterfly, but I actually like this gray one better, and I thought I might mount it on, let me get the tweezers. This, as I said, this is a sticker I had already used, so I cut the outline. The outline is still sticky and it still has color to it, so I cut the outline, and it's a kind of orangey red. It's not exactly orange. I thought I might put this butterfly here. I'm going to temporarily put that there. I'm going to take this butterfly. The butterfly is a clear sticker, so that orange underneath is going to show through there. Okay, now I'm going to do this, and maybe this I really like how that butterfly looks, don't you? That's kind of cool. I'm going to put the butterflies away. That's the only one I'm going to use. I am going to fussy cut this camera, and it has this aqua background, which is going to contrast nicely. It'll kind of become our accent color in the midst of all this orange, and it has the wood grain that is going to become important because my title is going to be wood grain. Okay, so I'm gonna do that right there, and I may put a piece of foam behind it. Now I've got a couple other pieces that I thought I might use somewhere. These two brads, and well, actually there are three brads. This little take note might be a good place for some journaling. So let me do that, put that down, and kind of do that. And that kind of covers these solid circles. I may use some trim. I was thinking of inserting this right under there, and I think that would be a good spot for it. And then I've got, well, I think as I'm looking at that, I think I've got it upside down. I did. So let's put that in there. Not sure which of these I'll use, but I kind of thought I might add one here, and I like this, maybe up there. Maybe I'll do, if I did that, that's over near the others. I like it kind of bridging. Let me make sure that I'm getting everything on here. I've changed the camera angle a time or two since I set this up this morning, and I like using this glass mat because if I put it where it's definitely in camera range, then I know if I'm working on it that you can see what I'm doing. I can't say that I've actually left it where it belonged. Okay, here's another of those ovals. I thought I might add in, actually what I want to do here is put a title. This was October of 2008. So I'm going to put the date there, and maybe I'll let it bridge this, and then I'll add some other embellishment up in that area. The title I'm planning to put right in here, so that I need to be sure and leave room. I'm going to take this orange label and cut it and use it, part of it right here, as just a layer underneath this photo. I hesitated to do that because I had all the circle-y shapes going around, and I thought I might also use it up at the top of this. And that allows me to write some journaling there. The journaling that I will be adding, we'll talk about the fact that when Allie sang in her very first choral concert, none of us had any idea that she would be singing the national anthem at her senior homecoming football game, which she did last week. So it's the Dream Big title that I'm planning to use, kind of is reference to that. I haven't glued this one down. It's kind of getting near the finish here. I like those added circles. Let me see if I can find a place to put this. I'm actually going to place it here so you'll know where I plan to put it, but I'm going to punch the hole and do it, or I'll take the backing off camera after we film. I'll probably use this other one here on this one. I like the take note, but I may not use it on this page. And there's some other ephemera that I have here. I really like the playing games image of the kids in the circle, but I think I'm going to cut it out, kind of as a just a, it's an elementary school image. It's a vintage picture of what recess might have been like back in my day, and I love October afternoon for those kinds of images. I don't do a lot of vintagey scrappy pages, but I did use a lot of October afternoon when and that's kind of what I'm saving it for now, when I document my career or my school days or my early gardening. There's a wonderful collection they have that's great for gardening. I kind of like this, and I don't mind if some of the kids are hidden, but let's see, I think what I'll do is I'll cut half the kids off and kind of do this here. And then these other kids I may use kind of right in here as part of this. That will obscure the music somewhat. And is that okay? Maybe I'll do it like this. Yeah, I like that. Okay, I've got another image that's of kids playing musical chairs. And I had thought of using it, but I think I'll save that for a birthday page I have coming up. So that's pretty much everything that I'm going to do now, except the title, and then I have a rub-on. Okay, on my thickers here for the title, I obviously use the B for something else, but I have a B down here in Celebrate, so I'm going to borrow from that. I'm going to I'm going to place this now, and because they're chipboard, we know they won't stick, so I'll go back and glue them after we finish filming. And let me go with B, IG. That'll be straightened out a little bit, and I'll put that aside. In my, I've got a Love You to the Moon and Back, which is kind of a sentiment that goes back to the era that those images represent. So let me go here. Rub-ons are tricky because once you've chosen the spot and stuck them there, they're kind of there. And I used to have the hardest time getting them to be fully stuck, let's say. And where I want this is up here. So I kind of went with it and let them be just partially there, so it kind of had a vintagey look, and I told myself that was okay. And I'm not sure where or when I learned to do them properly and check, but this one I did have one place where it didn't stick, and I'm perfectly okay with that for the reasons I just stated. There's another one that says, believe in the magic, shine brightly. I think believe in the magic is appropriate for a dream big, one day you'll be singing the national anthem. These rub-on sentiments also come in white, and I had thought white might be nice on the orange, but it would take me too long to find the ones. Let me see if I can make this fit here. I can, if I get it on straight. Are you able to see what I'm doing? I'm placing it on top of this label and trying to get the words lined up in the space there. This is harder than it looks, or than I thought it was going to be. Okay, let me rub that off. And see if that worked. No. what's good about these tweezers is I can actually get them. These rub-ons are not new, shall we say. So even in a closed package, they may have dried up a bit. Okay, so I like that. I like that one is kind of out on its own on the page. I'm wondering if I could use another butterfly, maybe one that contrasts. And I kind of like this one. Let me go with this one. This one has some clear spots where the orange may show through. So let's do that. I looked at that and I kind of thought the ones that are untreated, if you will, kind of look a little bare. Okay, that's good. It's not absolutely straight. I've got a part of a butterfly here. If I've used two, I kind of want to use three. I've got part of one that I could kind of tuck right in there. And that works. Okay, so I'm going to call this done. The next things I'm gonna do are kind of line up the title and glue that down. I'm going to add these brads, and if anything looks empty, I will try to fill it out. Like this may look, well actually when I put that brad there it won't, and when I put the brad here this won't. And this one it looks okay because I've got these other things layered on it. So I'm gonna go with it. Challenge accepted, and I've paid homage to a couple other challenges, the Rediscover Your Stash label challenge and the For the Love of Pretty Paper die cut ephemera challenge, although I don't think I used any of it whole. I punched circles out of it and I fussy cut some things out of it. But the main challenge that I'm doing here is Scraptastic Inspiration, and she's got a new challenge every other day for the month of October. I think you can join anytime. She's on Facebook, and you'll love the challenges and be stretched beyond anything you thought you could do, and more than that, you'll do a page every other day. So enjoy and go out there and accept some challenges, and I'll see you next week.